Imagine waking up tomorrow and not being able to replace your broken cell phone because the price skyrocketed. China controls over 90% of the minerals needed to make all the electronics we use. For decades, this Asian giant has been carrying out a century-long plan to control the world's mineral resources. The consequences are already visible in the availability of the technology we use every day. In this video, you'll discover how China achieved this mineral monopoly and why this directly affects your wallet and access to the electronic devices you rely on so much. Pause 1S. The 100-Year Plan. How China conquered the minerals market. Did you know that while the whole world was obsessed with oil and its prices, China was quietly executing a plan that would forever change the global landscape of minerals? It's a fascinating story that began decades ago and is now bearing fruit in a way that few could have foreseen. Let's go back to the 70s and 80s. Back then, China was a mostly poor country with enormous natural resources, but without the technology to exploit them. Most of its population lived in rural areas, and its economy was far from the powerhouse we know today. However, something changed in the mindset of its leaders that led them to look beyond the present. In 1992, Deng Xiaoping, the architect of China's economic modernization, uttered these significant words: "The Middle East has oil, China has rare earths." This phrase concealed an impressive strategic vision. While the world remained focused on black gold, China was already setting its sights on the rare minerals essential for modern technology. China implemented a brilliant strategy that we can compare to a perfectly executed relay race. First phase. They dominated the extraction of these minerals within their territory. Second phase. They perfected processing techniques. Third phase. They made the leap to manufacturing high-tech products that use these minerals. Meanwhile, the opposite was happening in the United States. American mines began to close due to high operating costs and increasing environmental regulations. The American government did not consider these minerals to be strategic, and companies simply looked for more profitable options in the short term. Taking advantage of this situation, China made a master move. They began offering these minerals at such low prices on the international market that the few Western mines could not compete. It was a strategic play, sacrificing immediate profits to ensure long-term dominance. The results were overwhelming. By 1990, China already controlled approximately 30% of the world market for rare earths, and by 2010, that control had increased to over 95%. In just 2 decades, they went from being a major player to having practically a global monopoly. As the West fell behind, the Chinese plan went beyond simple extraction. While developing their mining capacity, they were also investing massively in research and development. The result is impressive. China has filed more than 25,000 patents related to rare earths, while the United States barely exceeds 10,000. This difference in patents represents a huge technological gap that will be extremely difficult for the West to close. Each patent is strategic knowledge that allows China to stay ahead of the curve, not only in extraction, but in the entire value chain of these critical minerals. The most surprising thing is that all of this is part of a century-old plan, a strategy designed to unfold over decades, when the rest of the world hadn't even begun to consider the strategic importance of these resources. Today, minerals like gallium, germanium, rare earths, graphite, and lithium are as important to our modern economy as oil was in the 20th century. They are in our phones, computers, electric vehicles, solar panels, and defense systems. And China controls much of its production and processing. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more videos. Let's continue. The current crisis, the mineral weapon in the trade war. What seemed like a simple economic advantage has transformed into a geopolitical weapon with real consequences. After China restricted antimony exports in 2023, shipments to the United States plummeted by a shocking 97%, while prices skyrocketed by 200%. Imagine Carlos, the owner of a small electronics factory in Valencia, who saw his business nearly go bankrupt when production costs tripled in a matter of weeks. It's as if someone suddenly turned off the innovation tap on our daily lives. The year 2023 marked a turning point in this story. China imposed strict restrictions on the export of key minerals, like gallium and germanium, essential elements for manufacturing the semiconductors and 5G technology you use every day. The official reason was their classification as materials with both civilian and military uses, making them a matter of national security. The timing reveals the true strategy. These restrictions came just after the United States banned the sale of advanced chips to Chinese companies. This calculated response transformed a trade advantage into a powerful economic weapon, escalating tensions in an already heated trade war. Your smartphone contains approximately 16 critical minerals that China largely controls. These invisible components make the touchscreen, camera, battery, and processor work. Without them, our devices simply wouldn't exist as we know them. China's dominance in the global processing of these resources is overwhelming. It controls 63% of rare earths, 100% of natural graphite, and over 85% of lithium and cobalt refining. With these new restrictions, it is demonstrating that it can cut off supply when it sees fit. The case of antimony is particularly revealing. This mineral, essential for semiconductors and military equipment, practically disappeared from the US market after the restrictions. Western technology manufacturers now face a growing shortage of essential components, with price increases that inevitably reach the end consumer. For the United States and its allies, this scenario presents a complex dilemma. Continue to depend on China or invest trillions in developing alternative supply chains that will take decades to become operational. Experts estimate that shortages of minerals like gallium and germanium could cause losses of up to $3.4 billion to the US economy. If China were to extend restrictions to other critical minerals, the impact would be devastating for entire industries. This new reality is transforming the dynamics of global power. China has turned its mineral dominance into a diplomatic and strategic tool. It can now exert pressure on other countries simply by threatening to restrict access to these resources. It's like controlling the water in a desert. Whoever has it has the power. Western companies are desperately seeking alternatives in Australia, Canada, and Africa. But developing a mine and building processing facilities takes years, even decades. Meanwhile, China is strengthening its position. Have you noticed how the prices of electronic devices have gone up? This silent war over minerals is a direct cause, and we are only just beginning to see the consequences. The technology you use every day, from your smart refrigerator to your electric car, depends entirely on these minerals. If tensions continue to escalate, we could face a future where certain devices simply cease to be available or become prohibitively expensive for the average consumer. The mineral future. Consequences for your daily life. As we see how these devices could disappear from our lives, a fact that few people know is that a single electric car needs 136 pounds of graphite for its battery, and China controls almost 100% of the world's processing of this crucial mineral. What will this mean for the future of electric mobility that we have been promised? The answer is worrying. We are facing a structural change in access to technology. Critical minerals are like the lifeblood of our modern devices. Without them, the technology we use every day simply stops working. Imagine waking up and discovering that the new smartphone you were expecting has doubled in price or is simply not available. This economic projection is based on our current mineral dependence. Experts estimate that by 2030, we will need 23 times more lithium, cobalt, and graphite than we produce now. This increase is mainly due to the global energy transition. Every solar panel, wind turbine, and electric vehicle requires significant amounts of these minerals. Your smart refrigerator that lets you know when you're low on milk, your Netflix-connected TV, even your home thermostat, all depend on components under the strategic control of a single country. Can you imagine a day without these devices? It wouldn't just be inconvenient. It would be like losing your connection to the modern world. In the next 5 years, analysts predict a component shortage that will cause price increases of between 30 and 50% for consumer technology. Some products will simply disappear because their components will not be available in the quantities needed. Europe and the United States are investing billions to develop alternatives, but opening a new mine is not like building a factory. An average mine takes 16 years from planning to being operational, not counting environmental and regulatory challenges. Those 136 pounds of graphite per electric car battery mean that if China limits the export of processed graphite, as it has already done with other minerals, the electric revolution could come to a complete halt. Alternative mining projects in Africa, Australia, and Latin America will not be ready before 2028 to 2030, creating a supply gap just as demand skyrockets. As a consumer, you will face a dilemma. Will you pay double for your next phone or settle for outdated technology? For many families, it will not be a matter of choice, but of economic possibility. The social impact of this mineral crisis is profound. We are moving towards a new technological divide. Basic devices could become luxury items, dividing society between those who can afford advanced technology and those who will be left with outdated solutions. Western companies are frantically exploring ways to reduce their dependence. From new battery designs to alternative materials, innovation is now a matter of survival. Automakers, consumer electronics, and medical technology manufacturers face critical decisions about how to keep their production lines running in this new environment. Governments have begun to categorize these minerals as matters of national security, but solutions are late and insufficient in the face of the magnitude of the challenge. We have relinquished control of our technological future, and getting it back will take decades, not years. This reality will transform not only the prices of technology, but who will have access to it in our immediate future. If you are enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more videos. Let's continue. And so, we come to the end of our journey through this mineral war. Friends, we face a fundamental shift in the global economic landscape that will demand diversifying our sources and increasing recycling efforts. How will your technology consumption be impacted in this new scenario? We are at the crossroads of a future where premium technology could become a treasure reserved for a select few. The future doesn't just depend on who controls these minerals, but on our collective response. The way we act will determine our access to technology for decades to come. This isn't just a trade war, it's a silent revolution that's reshaping our digital world.